Hello and welcome back to the Only Fools Love Horses YouTube channel. It's episode 2 of our Horses to Follow for the 2023-2024 jump season. We're already getting into the swing of things. We've got former Gold Cup winners coming out and showing themselves for the first time this season. We've got some fantastic horses to talk about. We're going to be focusing on the novice hurdling division this week. And of course, this week, the three of us are here, Harry, Lee and myself. We're looking ahead to the jump season. Novice hurdlers, Lee, you're back and you're looking and you're talking about the jumps. What more can we be asking for?
Oh yes, look, the lights started dim there at the end of the flat season. It's we've still got Champions Day and stuff, but I've kind of switched codes now. And look, it's good to be back. It's good to. I'm going to try and rein you two lads in. I've been watching, and someone's going to keep you on a leash.
Harry, we need to be kept on a leash after
Harry especially, not so much you, Ash.
Right to reply, Harry. Go on.
How can you reply to say that I need to come off the leash? There's just no reply to it. No, it's brilliant to have Lee back. The trio of us are back, and you know what? We are all avid jump lovers. And obviously, we've got Chepstow coming up at the weekend. We've got some massive races to preview. And even we were just talking off camera there, just talking about the jumps. It has a different feeling to it. And do you know what? There's been a certain build up around it already on Twitter, etc. And I'm absolutely buzzing for it.
There's a Tony Carroll horse centred at Chepstow. I did spot that.
That's news for me. Hang on a second. Yeah. You can keep talking. I'll check in the background.
No, one of the first races he's entered, a unraced one, I think. So I'm sure you'll be excited. I'm sure you're going at Chepstow, Yash.
I will be at Chepstow. Yes, that's even more excitement for me to be going there. If Tony Carroll's got one running at Chepstow, who have we got now? City Cyclone and the Juvenile Hurdle. Love it. Go on, Tone. Absolutely beautiful stuff.
But I mean, lads, like even Uttoxeter on Sunday, and
you've got it. Just because he's mentioned Tony Carroll, you don't have to mention Uttoxeter.
No, but
do you want me to mention Newcastle? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying. Like even having the jump racing back at Uttoxeter on Sunday, it was a packed crowd. There was thousands there, and we must touch on obviously all of our condolences go to the Swiss and Davis yard regarding our like to move in. No horse should lose their life in the manner that he did, and he was such a brilliant addition to the Twiston Davis team. And it has been really, really good to see their yard absolutely flying in the last few days. And Sam, I mean, it takes a braver man than I am, and that we all are, to get up and show that much resilience to then an hour later ride a winner and another winner on the card. He actually rode a double, so he's certainly a man that is much braver than I am, and kudos to those jockeys, and I certainly tip my hat to them.
Yeah, professionalism at its finest. Those jockeys are made of something else, I tell you. We'll go on then. We'll kick on, gentlemen. Novice hurdlers are on the scene. Can be quite a difficult division for some, coming out of bumpers into novice hurdles. But I'll throw it over to Lee. Horse number 1 to follow from you for this season.
Okay, my first one is Brighterdaysahead. So 2 similar names for Gordon Elliott, but Brighterdaysahead, all one word there. She's a 4-year-old filly. She's actually a half sister to Mighty Potter, French Dynamite, and Indiana Jones. So there's some top names to be related to. She's a 2-time bumper winner. She won on debut by 13 lengths over 2 mile 1. That was on Softer Heavy at Goring Park. She bolted up there. She went on to a Tats bumper. It was a 59 grand race at the Fairy House Easter meeting. And she came with a powerful late run to win that by 4 lengths. She was keen that day and still managed to have plenty left in the tank. It was a really taken run the last day. I think she'll suit more of a stamina test. She come through late with her runs. She still had a turn of foot the last day to win easily, but I think stamina will be her bag. You know, looking forward, maybe, and look, people crab looking towards them festivals, but the likes of that new course on the Thursday for a mare's novice at Cheltenham, if she can progress to that caliber, that would suit her down to the ground. And I just think maybe take anti-post nibble. It is for the mare's Novice at 12s. But I think she'll progress as the season goes on. She might start at Down Royal as well. Gordon likes to start his horses there. And Brighter Days Ahead is definitely one to watch in the Gigginstown colours.
Yeah, if she's anything like Mighty Potter, she'll be quite a good horse for sure. Like, Mighty Potter, incredible. And if she got any of that fight, then fair play. I think also just touching on this, and I know me and Harry are going to have a horse talk about this in this division specifically, the Mares Novice Hurdle division, but I think it's going to be really hot this year. Just speaking to Fergal O'Brien recently, he's obviously got Dysart Enos, potentially Politicus as well. I know me and Harry are going to talk about one from Willie Mullins as well. Like, this could be quite a hot division. I know in the last couple of years, it's been like they're very good. And I know there's been a couple years where it's been good horses, and like You Wear It Well is a very good horse. But I think we could have quite a competitive division this year for sure. Harry, I'll throw it over to you. We'll go straight into it. What's your number one horse or your first horse for the Novice Hurdle division this year?
Yeah, so recently I went to Paul Nicholls' yard down in Ditchit for the Old Gold open morning, and just listening to Paul Nicholls, he was talking about the way he trains his horses and maybe some horses to look forward to, but there was just a certain vibe around Inthewaterside that you just got and you thought, this horse could be a little bit special. And this horse is 2 from 2. He went to Exeter first time out. A little bit green, but he won by a length. Adrian Heskin has been on board both times. Went to Sandown, and listen, it was good to soft there, but I mean, it was riding a little bit slower than good to soft, and we know what Sandown's like towards the especially in the winter time. But this horse beat a horse called 10 Lengths Tom, who I think is a very good horse. He was actually in the Waterside, was actually second favourite. Second string of the stables. Wrapped Up in May was actually back in third, was an 8-13 favourite with Harry Cobden aboard. And in the Waterside just made all and just looked like an absolute machine. And not many horses come up the Sandown Hill with the same zest that he came up. I mean, to put it quite frankly, the last horse I actually did see come up that hill that strongly was Con Hill. And you just thought, wow, this horse could be a little bit special. And you know what? Paul Nicholls, when he usually says that this horse could be very good, he's not usually very far wrong, is he? So this horse is a French bred. I think he would prefer this, maybe an ease in the ground. I think he'd be okay on the good to soft though. And I mean, how many times have we seen a Cheltenham where it's on soft ground? Sometimes it's on good to firm. Constitution Hill breaks the track record. Next minute, it's absolutely pissing down and it's vile. But that's just the way things go. I think he's a very exciting 5-year-old to go to war with. He'd be mopping up those graded hurdles, and hopefully he's on to bigger and better things to come.
Yeah, Paul Nicholls, we were saying off camera, but I remember speaking to Paul ahead of last season, and he had something like 26 store horses that'd be picked up from all over, sort of around point-to-point scene and through the French scene as well. So he's got plenty of youngsters coming through the ranks. I know I've talked about a couple, I think, on the channel in previous years, and he's definitely got a couple that are coming through. And in the Waterside looks like one really to keep on the agenda. I'm sticking in Britain as well for my sort of first novice hurdler to follow. And I was down with Harry being down at Ditchit the other day. I was down at Harry Fry's the other month to do a bit of filming, and I got chatting to Harry, got chatting to assistants, and got chatting to people within the yard and to Johnny Burke as well. And there was all one horse they were circling back to, and it was Gidleigh Park. I think is a really, really interesting horse this year. He won his Chepstow bumper at March 19th under Johnny Burke, and it was very, very easy. And I think the big thing to note here, he's quite a big framed horse. You can see it in the replay as well. If you go back to the Chepstow bumper, he's quite a big horse, and he's probably still got plenty of improvement and plenty of growth to go. But he's Johnny starts to get a little bit low in the saddle. You think, oh, he's just gonna sort of get a bit busy, and he might not stay on as well as he did. But he went low, and then that was just sort of to kick into the next gear, sort of into third gear, and then he went low again into fourth gear, and then he got back onto the bridle, and it was the sort of trio of them, and then just Gidleigh Park went away. He went away really nicely, as you would like to see from a horse like him. And I thought it was a really impressive performance at the time. And then when you go around and you speak to Harry and you speak to Johnny and you speak to all of them, you speak to Kira, who's the assistant, and my word, they think a fair whack about Gidleigh Park. I think Harry Fry has got a lot of horses to be really excited about coming through. I think there was a horse that was second to St. Davy, who I spoke about in last week's Horse to Follow. I think it's Hymac. That's a really interesting horse to watch this season as well as Silver Jet, who come from the point-to-point scene, yet to run yet. He is one for fences probably next season, so he will be seen over hurdles this year, and to see to what extent he'll be competing in the decent level races, who knows this year. But he is a massive, big frame thing, and he's still like an absolute baby. So I think the Harry Fry team have got a really exciting couple of years coming forward. I think Gidleigh Park is head of that though. Again, like Silverjet, he could be one that's one for fences maybe next year. But by the vibe I was getting, they say they think they can really hit the ground running this year. And, you know, I think there's plenty to come from Gidleigh Park. So where we'll see him, I think he could be going maybe potentially up in trip. I wouldn't mind seeing him in 2.5, although his bumper was 1 and 2, but it's at Chepstow. Chepstow has got a long run in, as we all know. It's very undulating. The ground is usually fairly deplorable in the best of times. And so I'd say 2.5 miles could be sort of his gig potentially. So Gidleigh Park for me, my first novice hurdler to follow. Lee, you were speaking about your first one being having to get the name correct. Tell us why, because you've got one that's similar names for your second.
It's not just because I'm a Geordie. I can't string a sentence, but no, better days ahead. This one, 3 separate words, but 5-year-old Geldings. This one is with Gordon as well, and for Bective Stud though, 3 male point-to-point winner, beaten on debut, just beaten a length and a quarter by Corn Funnick of I think it's the Crawford's horse, but in the double green there, just beating a length and a quarter, was actually having to give £7 with the allowance. So I didn't think it was a bad debut. Then went and beat Willie Mullins' Chapeau de Soleil. That horse was sent off 4-6 favourite. Won quite easily, nudged out over 2 mile on soft. I thought that was a good run. Went to the champion bumper. Had a long time off. That was 4th of December when it beat Chapeau de Soleil. Was a non-runner at the Dublin Racing Festival. Went to the champion bumper. I'm unsure the reason why it missed so long, but I thought maybe it's just, look, that's a hustle and bustle of a race to go there with a long time off. I just thought maybe he's needed the run. And then again was a non-runner, punches down. Maybe he just has to fill out its frame. Unsure of the reason, but hopefully just come back a stronger horse this season. With being a point-to-point winner, I do think 2 mile 4 plus just the way the horse goes about stuff. I think 2.5 plus would be his trip. Look, if you're looking further for anti-post type of markets, maybe he's an Albert Bartlett. I think he's around 33s, but again, another one as the season goes on. Hopefully he can progress into something nice. So this one is better days ahead. The other one, brighter days ahead. So one's a mare, one's a Gelding there.
Yeah, Gordon could have quite a strong team as well, especially in this novice hurdle division. If I was to just swear, because this will be the final Gordon Elliott horse we'll talk about, I'm going to get a small word in for No Time to Wait. I think he's quite interesting. Coldwell Construction. This isn't one of my sort of like of the 3 novice hurdlers to follow. Very small word in the fact that I thought his Down Royal, his Down Royal bumper win by 15 lengths was very good. And I thought he shaped really nice in the champion bumper. Of the first 7 who finished home, he was sort of the only one that came from a different parish to finish where he did. And I think there's plenty more to come from No Time to Wait. So he'll be running the Coldwell Construction colours this year, going over hurdles. And yeah, he's interesting. As
truly, that's their season, the Coldwell Construction. I think, they took a couple of years to get into it, and maybe this is their season to really get them fuel. I know they had Jazzy Matty. Is that the right colours I'm thinking of? Yeah. But maybe they can kick on themselves as a group.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think I was watching. I was listening to Josh Stacey, Let's Talk Racing, and he was talking about how these owners that have big horses in the big yards, especially in Ireland, they don't get any horse. Like they get they get the ones they think are going to be good. And he was in that sense talking about Tony Bloom, who is an absolutely fantastic person. I'd love to pick the brain of Tony Bleu if I had 5 minutes, because
he's the shrewdest bloke alive.
I'd love to pick his pocket, never mind his brain.
You know what? I actually listened. Harry Finlay said the best thing ever. Like Tony Bloom, just he's like backing 50-1 winners like every week,
with
and
his football players,
his football players, and it's like he's selling these players. They're like hidden gems and stuff. And no wonder he's so shrewd and with like the likes of Energamy, and he's just transferring it over to the equine form instead of like human form. It's a fair play to him as well. Do you know, if he's someone that seems that he's grew his business and he likes a punt, and fair play to him.
And next week, Tony Bloom will be appearing on the Only Fools at Night. That would be nice. No, but like I was speaking to Josh about that, and I think he was talking about Il Atlantique for Willie Mullins. And, you know, like, again, these owners don't have, you know, just any other horse. And I think that's kind of the same for Coldwell Construction in the years they've been going. Like, you know, with Pied Piper, Jazzy Matty, Mighty Potter, just to name a couple there, you know, like I think they get these half decent ones. I think, anyway, bit of a tangent there, but I think No Time to Wait could be quite good for Gordon Elliott as well. Harold, your second horse to follow for this season.
Well, second horse, Ash, and it's a horse that me and you both like, and it's a horse that we will both mention. It's Junta Marvel, and it is for the Willie Mullins yard. So Lee's gone over to Gordon's. We're going to the proper Irish powerhouse in Willie Mullins. Now, this horse was last seen winning the Grade 3, the General Stud Book Irish EBF Mares Flat Race, and that was at the Punchestown Festival, I want to say. Just actually reading Willie Mullins' guide to that race, and he did mention he was that Jody Tannen, who obviously did who did ride this horse that time. He said that Jody was quick to put her name down to ride this one, which is a good sign. She's a mare that could improve a fair bit from her Limerick win, and she did. She travelled like an absolute good thing. There was horses in behind that were pretty decent, like fun. And Rayenra, I want to say for. I've probably absolutely butchered that name, but Arctic Fly was in sick that day. That horse has come out and won at the Galway over hurdles in a listed race. There's plenty of form, plenty of substance. She could be absolutely anything. I've had a tickle at 20-1 for the Mares Novices hurdle. I think she'd be tailor-made for that sort of race. She's already won over the trip, and I think if she can jump, I think she'll give the Turner family a lot of fun. They've only had one horse in the last 5 years with Willie Mullins. Do you know who that horse is? Billaway, bang on the money. And actually, just reading about it, like over the last 5 seasons, they've got such a good strike rate, mainly because of Billaway. So they're pretty shrewd, and I think they'll be pretty excited with what she's already shown. So, and I'm sure you'll be going into her bloodline, but I mean her pedigree screams a very, very talented horse. I mean, the Damsire, Robin Deschamps. I mean, we've seen the likes of who Willie Mullins has trained, like the likes of Vator, Quavega. Just some of those horses just reek class. And if she's anything to go by that, then she's certainly one to keep on side with. So fingers crossed, Junta Marvel is going to be a very, very good horse going forward.
Yeah, I did a little bit of the sort of pedigree side of things. I sort of focused a little bit more on the sire, because I think Masked Marvel's an interesting National Hunt sire coming forward. You know, progeny started hitting the track 2018-19 season, and it's sort of been the last, well, pretty much like last season, his top 3 on RPRs and official ratings at the top of his offspring page. You know, Tiupu, Masakeda, and Marvel de Cerisi. Marvel de Cerisi, if some of you don't know, is was with Henry de Bromhead and went to the festival to run in the plate, and that was my absolute nap of the naps that day. Ended up finishing 9th and didn't really get into the race. Has actually been sold since and gone over to Auteuil and finished second in an Auteuil chase. But yeah, so those are the 3 that sort of hit the top of the offspring page for Masked Marvel as the sire. As Harry says, you know, Damsire, Robin Deschamps. So it's interesting. Yeah, like Junta Marvel was the one for me who I went through the bumpers around the Punchestown Festival, and obviously you can go quite obvious in A Dream to Share and all that around there, but I wanted to go a little bit away from that, because, you know, it would take this water bottle here to tell you that A Dream to Share is going to be quite a nice horse this year. But I wanted to sort of have a look and see where there was another way into it. Thought Junta Marvel was quite clearly that. And I potentially say she was a bit more impressive in her first run of the season. She did really well. That was when Patrick was on board and absolutely powered to the front, and then got to the front and just a couple of reminders and was going away really nicely. Then, as Harry said, in the Punchestown race, when Jody was riding, Patrick Mullins was on Fun, Fun, Fun. Now, it's not like there was I wouldn't say, well, first of all, Fun, Fun, Fun went off Evans Fab, Dublin Racing Festival winner. So Patrick was always going to ride that. Second of all, Patrick bred the horse. So he's always going to go with Fun, Fun, Fun. And yeah, I thought she was really impressed at Punchestown. I actually think there's a small part of me that thinks she wasn't doing too much in front when she got there.
She flashed her tail. She really flashed her tail when she got to the front and stuff.
I think Jody was getting low in the saddle and was riding out, but I think she was sort of doing a couple of handstands on the way. I don't think she was doing too much in front when she got there, and when she did, she just went away. Nothing was really catching her. So I thought she was really impressive at Punchestown. As Harry said, 20 to the mares novice. It'd be interesting, but we want to see them a bit more. I'd say, especially want to see them over a hurdle. Same goes for like we said there, Brighter Days Ahead, and the third, like Brian also mentioned already. But yeah, Junta Marvell as well for me is my second horse to follow. Me and Harry have landed on one, which is only a worrying sign for everyone watching. Lee, swirl it back over to you. Your third horse to follow for novice hurdler to follow for this season.
Well, like Harry says, I couldn't leave Willie Mullins' horse out, so 2 for Gordon. But this one, Factor Fail, is just a horse that I loved all last season. Got a good price for the champion bumper. Slightly obviously went astray there, but look, it's a 6-year-old gelding, another point-to-point winner, 3-mile point-to-point winner. Won on debut over 2-mile 4. Which, over here you wouldn't get many of them type of bumpers, but won over 2-mile 4, beat Irish Panther. That horse, Frank the Form, got sent off favourite to beat Ballyburn and was third to Ballyburn, and then ran second, beating half a length at the Punchestown Festival. So Frank the Form there from debut. Factor Fail went to the Dublin Racing Festival, was second to A Dream to Share. I thought if Stamina was played more, Patrick would have liked another go on that. He did mention afterwards, straight after, maybe a second look at A Dream to Share. It probably wouldn't have got there, but I just thought he got the kick around the outside. Patrick was on the inside, and it would have been a lot closer. Third that day, though, was Farinelli, who's obviously then went and won a Grade 1 chase at the end of the season. So
that's miraculous, isn't it, though, by the way? Just touch on that, Lee.
Yeah.
That is just ridiculous. For a horse to do that.
Third then, and then did he win a hurdle and then he went chasing, or is that right?
Yeah.
It was mental. Look, he's been beaten since this season there. First time up for since board for JP, but still, look, that's the cracking form from last season at the Dublin Racing Festival. Then Factor Fail come up against the Dream to Share in the champion bumper again. He was sent off favourite that day, got a lot of money piled in. He is a JP horse. They must have thought a lot of them. He was a choice of 10 runners for Willie Mullins. Patrick chose him. I just think they have a lot of faith in the horse. Hopefully he can, come on. Look, he'll scoop up a egg and spoon race. Maybe he's in a few weeks' time. Who knows? Whenever he's ready, maybe he's kick on to Christmas. Maybe it's a Dublin Racing Festival. The Nathaniel Lacey, maybe he'll take that one in, and then on to the 2 main festivals, Cheltenham and Punchestown. But hopefully he can just progress as well. He's a horse that I really warm to. A Dream to Share got the better of him, but I just think he'll want a bit of a trip. And whether he may take in a Supreme, you do need Stamina to win that race as well. Whether Willie splits him and Ballyburn up, and whether JP splits A Dream to Share and Factor Fail, who knows? But as the season goes on, come Christmas and a Dublin Racing Festival, he'll be a player for me.
Yeah, he's like, you have to really like him, Factor Fail. I think he's when you talk about the two, the Dream to Share and Factor Fail, he's your standard sort of, I suppose, the horse we sort of, looked at as a Willie Mullins typical bumper into novice hurdle horse and a typical JP horse, whereas you got A Dream to Share is, flatbread coming into it, was sort of a bit rogue at the scene at Dublin Racing Festival, and he's since won 3 Grade 1s, so I think it's really interesting, the silks are there. I'll be fighting I'll be fighting the A Dream to Share corner this year wherever he goes. the army will be there. And
does
look,
the flatbread side of it, does that come in it for you? Just as in, going hurdling and stuff like that. Does it? I don't know. Like it doesn't scream at Supreme Host to me.
Look,
yeah,
I think you just like. I think it's just quite as simple as we just need to see him. I think it's just. I think it's as simple as that. And there's been plenty of people who have been like, "Oh, my horse to like my lay of the season kind of thing is a dream to share." And like, I just like to see him, like, and I understand like Muhara as the sire, he's not known for his jumpers. I did it. I actually had a look the other day because I think it was Jake Price who sort of put up a dream to share. I think it's not going to be an amazing sort this season. Like everyone's obviously, opinions are brilliant in the sport, and we can all have a nice discussion about our opinion and other person's opinion in the game. But like you look at Muhara's offspring page that have jumped, like it's not. Like obviously the quality of horses that he's produced that have gone jumping have all not been amazing apart from a dream to share, and then the ones that have gone, they've been winning nicely. Like when they have won, they've won fair and they've jumped fair. Like I think that's the thing that's putting people off is jumping wise, but I think of the ones that have actually seen a hurdle, they've jumped fair enough. Look, I just think a dream to share is absolutely just something else. I really think he is. If you actually go back to a dream to share, the reason why I backed him and put him up at the Dublin Racing Festival was because of his Roscommon win. I implore everyone to
come out, Harry, please.
I can't say anything because I backed him for the champion bumper. So if I start going
look,
on, it's
just... hammer away. I'll get Chris Bleu to tag his double.
I think that's rather seamless from me there to get that in the old Dublin Racing Festival fancy. I think that's seamless.
Miss it.
No, but look, I think if you actually, I just like on a general one, if you go back and watch a Dream to Share's Roscommon win, he was sent off 2-9 and he was beaten he won 2 lengths. So probably people just looked at it and go, no, probably not. But he like honestly just like came from absolutely nowhere and just went and just like fired away. It was simply incredible the turn of foot he showed. So look, like I thought he's I think Dream Share's a horse definitely for this season, but then fact to file of
quickly
course,
on that as we're recording, he does have a stone bruise, so a Dream to Share was due out to punch us down on Wednesday as the video go out, but he does have a stone bruise there, so we're missing the you know what puts me off sometimes, so these earlier the horses coming out earlier on, I prefer them to come out a little bit later on. If you're targeting these festivals, especially, so maybe it'll do good waiting a few weeks anyway.
Yeah, potentially for sure. Harry, swirl it back to you. Your final horse to follow for this season.
My final novice hurdler is it wouldn't be a T Murphy video without me saying one of a horse from Olly Murphy's. I haven't got my cap. I should have put my cap on.
Around my room if I've got my cap.
I should have put my cap on. But listen, Ollie started the year in terrific form. He's been all throughout the summer. He's had some beautiful types that have come out, and you're thinking the sky's the limit for some of them. My final horse is a horse called Indeevar Bleu, or Bleu, Indeevar Bleu for those French lovers. I do apologise because it is a French name. This horse is. I mean, if you see this horse in the flesh, like. Even just from seeing it on TV, this horse is a looker. I mean, he's just if it was a filly and I'd seen on a night out, you'd certainly be going for that horse. I mean, you'd be thinking, wow. But this horse went to Weatherby. He's only had one start, and he started off. He was just so green. And just reading the comments afterwards, and in the stable tour that Ollie did for Racing TV, he was saying how this horse had no. He was so undercooked, and he was the worst 11 to 10. Favourite you'll ever see in your life. And then Sean Bowen got off him and just said, wow, where the hell have you been hiding this thing from? Like, he could hardly pull him up. And he said he was very green, but he won so well that he reeks of a good horse. And I keep saying that phrase. And so many of these horses that we mentioned, they could smell like a good horse, but whether they actually jump well, it's a different ball game completely. He's gonna. Just reading the comments, he will be starting off in a maiden hurdle at somewhere. I think he could go anywhere. The sky is really the limit.
As he starts somewhere, like
how would I know?
Olly Murphy confirms he will be starting in a maiden hurdle.
Listen, I see 2 miles. I think 2 miles will be his trip right now. for the predominantly this season. I think he's just got so much speed about him. I can't see any reason why they'd step him up, unless he's kind of jumping a little bit slow and he kind of looks like he wants a trip. But yeah, he's got some kick to him, and I think he could be a very, very good one for Olly Murphy. He's already released some very, very smart novice hurdlers already. We've seen one at Bangor the other day that fairly bolted in, and he started well. I'm hoping he's going to finish this season well, because to be fair, I think he really deserves a massive season this year. He's been knocking on the door, the likes of Chasing Fire, etc., who looks to be a very, very smart novice chaser. And
just to say as well quickly, so you mentioned Harry Fry, who was built in the mold from Paul Nicholls, and Olly was built from Gordon Elliott, in that mold as well. They'll not be buying, bad horses. And especially the Whateleys there, they've had plenty of good horses down the line. And look, these are horses they're not getting any cheaper, that's for sure. All the horses are getting more and more expensive, but they're not buying rubbish.
I think the thing is, though, I think Olly's in kind of a different situation to many. Paul Nicholls is in the same situation. There's certain owners that stick to these trainers, and Diana and Graham Whately, they stick to Olly Murphy, and they buy these sorts of horses that are unrace, and they might be shit, but they might be brilliant. But they take that risk, and they're happy for Olly to train the same way he's been training, and give them the best chance. And I think that's such a strong thing for Olly to have, that when he does produce these horses that look to be like very, very smart animals, he knows he's got the owner's backing regardless of what happens. So I'm pleased for him. I think Indeevar Bleu could be a very, very smart horse. So he's my final horse to follow, Ash.
Yeah, look, I'd really like the Whateleys to have a horse that's sort of, that really, really top class. So like properly battling in grade ones consistently kind of horse, because they had that with Chasing Fire last season, the Supreme Dream, and then he was a bit disappointing at Cheltenham after that, and then they've obviously had Thomas Darby in the past, who has he's won a grade one, or has he won that grade two?
He won the long walk, didn't he?
Yeah, that's it. So he has won a grade one, but it was apparent that he wasn't that sort of reliable. This will win a grade one stayers hurdle every single time it runs, kind of thing. You'd love to see the Whateleys, they're sort of like the one owner you just absolutely love them to have this sort of like this horse just to go forward with. Hopefully Indeevar Bleu can be that. My final horse, I'm sticking in the UK, and it's slightly sort of similar to Harry in the fact I'm going for a horse who bolted up last time out. Could be anything, could be good, could be bad. Jonjo for me, Jonjo O'Neill Jr. Obviously, the big thing about this horse is that it beat Hermes Allen by something like 19 lengths in a point-to-point, and then went to Taunton and absolutely bolted up on the snaff in heavy conditions. Now in JP colours, so there's a big bit of territory that comes with this horse, and there will be a big bit of hype. But I'm hoping that hype is just, because I really like this horse. I really like the way he won his Taunton bumper. It was heavy conditions. Look, what is the race worth? You're probably not too sure. There's an interesting Paul Nicholls horse in behind. I'm just trying to get it up on my laptop now. Beat Pentai ahead by 5 lengths. Now I know. Speaking to Paul Nicholls last season, this is where sort of you get all the information about his 26 new horses coming into the yard, and Pentai Ahead was one of them. And Pentai Ahead was a horse who they do rate, and they think he's going to be quite a nice horse going forward. But would he be your typical bumper horse? Absolutely not. He's going to be sort of a type to be kicking on up in distance and over hurdles and over fences. But he's still absolutely breezed him past like he was a 90 rated maiden in 17 runs kind of thing. I thought he was really, really smart that day. I then spoke to Jonjo O'Neill Jr. afterwards, and he was sort of quite quick to probably temper my enthusiasms more than anything. He said that the horse had a few issues behind the scenes, and that's why there was a big break in between the point-to-point run in, I think it was 2021, and then the bumper appearance. There's a big time off the track, and there was because there was been issues behind the scenes. But now they had him in a place. They had him in a place where they thought he was good enough to sort of run. And then from there, it's sort of what does he do? So I don't think he was 100% that day. And look, it was a back-end season Taunton bumper. So you can always take that form with a pinch of salt in the correct way. And I think Jonnyhu's really, really impressive. I think he just is very professional already. He's a 6-year-old. So he's not one of these sort of young 5 or 4-year-olds that we've already been talking about on the video because he's had that sort of time off in between his point-to-point and bumper run. So I'd say when he goes into this novice hurdle campaign, he could be the mature one. He can be the bit more experienced, bit more of a head on his shoulders going forward. He is a bit of a. I get the impression he's a bit of a character at home when speaking to Jonjo, but I think he's quite a good character. Hopefully,
will he win at the weekend, Chaps? Though
that's the thing, and that's why it's sort of timely that we're putting it out. I haven't yet spoken to Jonjo Jr. Hoping to grab him for a couple of quotes for Gloss Live, but the prices for the Persian War have just come out. That's very interesting as I speak about this. Wouldn't you know he's 6-1 with Captain Teague 6-5, Rockhouse 5-1. Wow. Like I know the big talk is Captain Teague. Like this looks like Nicholls' horse in the novice hurdling division this year, and obviously the second to Dream Share, that form was really, really good. But you know, like I'd be interested to probably back maybe Jonnyho at 6-1 potentially. And we'll see how he goes from there. That is if he goes, obviously on the decks yet. But look, I think Jonnyho is a really, really good horse, and hopefully he can put the hype that I have in him and that everyone has in him onto the track over hurdles. And that's all we're covering in the novice hurdlers to follow. If you did enjoy, and if you did enjoy last week's, if you haven't watched last week's, go and check that out. If you enjoyed both of them, like and subscribe. Why not? There'll be more coming your way. Before we wrap up, Lee, we have a competition running which ends at the end of this week.
We do, and funny enough, Jonnyho, we have Johnny Deneen on our Sunday show, new Sunday show. It's going to be 7 till 8 o'clock on Sunday night. It's going to be looking back at the week, so we'll go over Chepstow and stuff, looking back at the week and looking forward from an anti-post perspective, not just for Cheltenham. So whether it's a Hennessy or King George or something like that, but we'll take in all the races from the weeks that have gone by. So we've got Johnny Deneen kicking that off. That's Sunday 7 till 8 live on Twitter, on the Twitter space, but the competition runs alongside it. It's Hacked Up Racing. Lloyd from Hacked Up there, he's kindly given us a bundle. They've got the socks, the mugs, also the race planner that he's done himself. So go and check out Hacked Up Racing. Really good guy Lloyd is, and the competition is pinned to our profile on the Twitter page, Only Fools Love Horses, and just like, retweet, share, and you've got to tag a mate as well, and you'll be entered into the competition, and we'll draw that on Sunday night. So Jonnyho, Johnny Deneen.
Yeah, Jonnyho, Johnny Deneen. So we'll be looking forward to that for sure. As I said, if you did enjoy, please do like, subscribe. Make sure to go check out our Twitters. They are on screen now. Go check that over there and give us a follow. Why not? We'll be back 10:30 a.m. on Saturday morning to talk about Chepstow, and much to probably Lee's disappointment, we will talk about the Dewhurst. I will definitely have a fancy for the Dewhurst. I know.
Well, they don't need to be talking much. I mean, City Troy Pistons. So, yeah. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
No, if you did enjoy, and make sure to go check that out on Saturday. If you're having a bet, please do gamble responsibly, and we'll see you very, very soon.